How's it going, guys? My name's Matt, this is my beard, and in today's video, something a bit different. We're going to build a paint rack. Before we get into this video, I just want to make mention that this is a product that I've bought myself. It's not a sponsored video in any way, shape or form. I'm not affiliated with TT Combat or anything like that. Although I would love to be in some way, shape or form because they are really, really cool. So for context, I have the 50 and the 25 Citadel TT Combat paint racks. The 25 was a Christmas gift last year. The 50 I recently bought because I realised I had far more than 25 Citadel paints. And I have recently bought around about 30 in total of the Vallejo paints. 22 of those are from the new 2.0 range, and I'm really loving working with them. So a video that's actually going to be coming out on Friday is my Escher video where I predominantly use the Vallejo paints to paint them. But back to this video. This video is all surrounding building this. So this is the TT Combat and Vallejo paint rack. It holds 36 Vallejo paints in the drop bottles, so it's just the standard for drop bottle size. So we've got these from the Malefic paint set, and we've got these which are obviously just the new 2.0. They're exactly the same size, so we don't have to worry about that. In regards to how I'm going to build it, this is very much a slot and fit and friction based system, but I use wood glue. So I apply Gorilla wood glue to each of the joins and corners and bits, just to add that little bit of sturdiness. Because for me personally, I actually take these racks, funnily enough, downstairs. Me and my housemates, so all 5 of us, me included, we all paint on one way, shape or form. So sometimes we have like a painting day whereby we've got like a big gaming table that we put up and we all sit down and bring our bits and bobs down, and it's a cool thing to do. So I like to take them downstairs, and it's easier for me to have something that I know isn't going to potentially fall apart. I'm not saying that it would, but it's just for my own peace of mind. I have them glued. The second thing, which is on top of what the regular build is, I actually spray mine down. I spray mine with black primer. It just goes with the aesthetic of my sort of space. I prefer it. It's just a personal preference. You don't have to paint them if you don't want to. It's just that additional step that I do just to kind of make it my own. But outside of that, I think I should tell you why I chose TT Combat in the first instance. So there's a whole host of different storage solutions for your paint available. Some people use the key systems, so the IKEA rack system that they have, and you can get little boards and little rack parts that you can just put on there, and that's flat against your wall. That's fine, and it would work for me in a different situation, but for my current setup, it doesn't really fit my requirements. The second part is makeup stands, and acrylic makeup stands, or risers. So they look like a set of stairs made out of clear acrylic, and they're great, really, really good, really inexpensive as well, and they go together similar or in a similar fashion to how you would build these in a flat pack way. You can get them off of Amazon or AliExpress or Shein or quite a lot of the importing businesses. For me personally, I love the aesthetic of those, but their footprint is a little bit too big for my personal setup. I prefer to have a lot more desk space and a lot more usable space around me than having, say, a foot by a foot square unit in the middle of the desk which has all my paints so I can see them front facing. So I chose TT Combat's range for very much that. It's a vertical storage system, meaning that it's stacked row on row on row. It's all in one, so you can see everything at once, and it's just an ideal little solution, to be honest with you. And also the cost, they're really cost efficient. For the Vallejo 36 rack that I got here, it was £12, and I mean, you can't turn your head at that. That's a good cost, considering that the material used is really quite good material. It's high quality cut as well. So they use they use like a laser cutter and cuts out the die on the second of the die, cuts out each individual part on effectively a wood sprue, and then it's just a case if you pop them out or use a scalpel and cut them out with your hobby knife. Overall, the finish is perfect. The weight is ideal. Their utility is ideal. So it ticks all of my boxes. As I say, the only additions that I make is that I add wood glue to glue it all together and I paint them black. Simple as that. So outside of that, I'm going to get on to actually building this. Now, there are instructions online and it takes around about 10 to 15 minutes to build overall once it's all sorted out. So it's a pretty straightforward, quick and easy process. Now, the only thing that's working against me is obviously I'm using wood glue, so I have to wait for things to set before I can actually paint it and use it. But that's only an hour, so that's not a problem. The instructions themselves are really comprehensive, and on the front sort of picture, so it actually shows you just here, there is a little QR code. So the idea is you get your phone, you just scan the QR code, and that directs you straight to the instructions for your product. So once you've bought it, it comes really quickly. It usually comes in a bubble mailer, slide straight through your letterbox, so you don't have to worry about waiting for the postman and all that sort of thing. And outside of that, it's a really straightforward process. They break everything down. I would probably liken it to if you've ever built Lego and you're following the Lego instructions. Very similar to that, very easy. The one thing in my experience that I would just make note of is there are two pieces that look relatively similar, but they have a small difference, which is the base panel and the top panel. They are slightly different because the base panel has access for feet and the top panel doesn't. And you just have to make note of the shapes of the corners before you commit glue or before you commit the piece to the actual build itself. But outside of that, really easy, really good product, and I'm really looking forward to building it and adding it to my my little painting array in front of me. So anyway, I've waffled for a bit too long now. I'm going to crack on and build this now. Now, if you go onto the TT Combat website, onto the actual product itself, and you just scroll down to the dimensions area here, you can actually click download for the instructions. So I'll just wait for that to open up. And as simple as that, there we are. Now, as you can see, really, really simple. Simple instructions, take it step at a time, and it's as simple as that. So I'm going to be cracking on with this, and I'll be giving you a little bit of narrative in between it. I'm going to build this in real time as well. There'll be little bits which are sped up, but outside of that, should be relatively easy. So let us jump into it. So on the actual instructions themselves, it does tell you where or which sprue, so to speak, we're looking at. So I'm just going to get into this quickly. I think it might be time for us to get a new hobby knife as well, or a little new scalpel. So we'll just take all that off, put the instructions to one side, or the instruction sheets to one side, so to speak. And here we have the 3 sprues. So, for step number 1, we need one of these, and we need one of these. So, I shall just pop them out. Now, what I've found is, if you look at the actual sprue itself, there are teeny tiny little non-cut marks. So you can just see that just there. And all you need to do is just use your hobby knife and just cut on through. Just give it a nice gentle cut. Just makes that a little bit easier. And there should be 4 little pinch points on this, so I'll just do all 4. That just pushes out, just like that. And then what I like to do, just because I'm this way inclined, I'll go in and I'll just do a small cut just to clean up that little area that we've just cut through there. There we go. So part number 1, and then part number 2. So this is just a small bridging gate, which I'll cut through there. There's a couple of little ones just on this side too. Just give them a gentle touch. There we go. Quick tidy. So if you weren't gluing it, you would simply just slot it in, just like that. And as you can see, it's really quite rigid already, and there isn't too much of a need for glue. But for me personally, I do prefer to have that glue. So I'm going to just quickly grab the Gorilla Glue. In fact, I'm going to do this in a bit of a cleaner way today, because usually I would just splurge it along, but I think today I'm just going to paint it on. There we go. That's probably far too much of the wood glue, but this is the stuff that I'm using. So I'm using the Gorilla Glue wood glue. Pretty easy to use. And I'll get a little paintbrush as well. There we are. So this bit is rubbish, so we can put that to one side, and then this bit's another bit that we'll use, so we'll just put that there for the time being. And all I'm going to do, just going to paint along here, because this is a touch point, and along here. Just like that. And again, this is a bit of an unnecessary step, but it's something that I've been doing. One of the rubber tipped sculpting tools, just run that along there, get rid of any excess. Just like that. And there we are. Step 1, done. Step 2. So we're now looking to get one of the side panels here. So this is telling me to use the right hand side one. So what I'm going to do in this instance, I'm going to just move that over there for now. I'm going to give myself a little bit more room. Just going to cut there. And there we go. Put it on one side. Now we have the two separate sides. Now obviously it still has these runners on the side here. It's an easy job just to cut them off. And for this one, we're looking for the grooves to face forward and the notches to the back. Again, bit of rubbish. Put that to one side. Do a quick clean up. There we are. Now there are these little notches here. And all I'm going to do is just push them through, just like that. And there we are. So gather all them up, put them to one side, they're rubbish. Now, fun little side note, these are actually ideal if you cut them in half to use as bricks. So they're quite decent to keep around, and I usually cut these down a little bit and keep them to one side just in case I'm doing any basing or anything like that may require them. So there you are. But anyway, so we get our pit here. And this is going in here. So this one's going in the very bottom with the lip facing up and facing out like that. So I'll just quickly take that out. I'm going to glue the bits I need to glue in here. So this bit here, and the nubbin at the top. And that is going in the very bottom groove, just like that. There we are. On to the next step. So we're going to get one of these large circle holes and another gate. So one of these and this. So again, really simple, just cut what you need. I sometimes just snap if it's an easy accessible bit, such as this, but you do run the risk of breaking your rack, so I wouldn't recommend doing it that way. I just knew with this larger bit here, if I had enough purchase on it, it wouldn't snap or break anything. I didn't want it to. So I'm just going to pop that on that side, pop that on that side, pop that there, rubbish to one side, get rid of the disc, and clean up my corners, just like this. Again, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. I just do it because it makes me feel good that I've done a little bit of clean-up work, and obviously I'm going to be painting this as well, so I don't want to have it as clean as I can, especially considering I'm gluing mine as well. Now, just for context, it does say at the very start of the instructions that you don't need to glue this. So please don't worry about gluing it if you don't want to. It is a personal preference of mine that I put some wood glue onto this. So don't worry about that. Part number 1, ready. Part number 2 was just here. And again, it's just this bottom bit here that I'm using. So I'm just going to quickly cut out the little nubbins. And again, your scalpel comes in dead handy here because it fits in the pre-cut groove already, and you just have to leave it down over the area which has got the little support knob there for you. So this is holes up, and this goes just in the middle, just there. Just like that. I was being a little bit ham-fisted there, but really easy, fits right in, job's a good one. However, obviously I'm taking it out, putting a bit of glue in, and gluing it back together. So again, get my wood glue, and all the touch points. Just going to paint a bit of glue on. And don't worry, these aren't expensive brushes. This was a £2 brush set of 16 very, very bad brushes, and I think they're meant for like children or something like that to, you know, do painting with, so they're not exactly meant to be quality. So I don't mind if I gunk this brush up and make it bad, but if you're precious about your brush, I wouldn't use your Winsor & Newton or more importantly your your Artis Opus on this. So, as we were saying before, it's a simple case of slotting it in, just like that. Give it a gentle push. And there we are. And then again, I'll come in with my rubber tip tool just to get off any of the excess, smooth it on over. Obviously this won't all be seen once it's been painted, but it's nice just to keep it tidy and clean, just like that. There we are. So that's ready, and we now just repeat that process, and we repeat that process, I believe it's 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, that's right. So there are 6 racks altogether, but we repeat this particular process 5 times. So we go back to the start, and this is it facing forward, and all we need to do is glue that into that position there. So let's get that done. Now I'm just going to speed through these next few, and we'll catch up in a moment. Now, because I'm an absolute fool, the last two clips, well, one of them, the first one was meant to be a time-lapse, but the second one wasn't meant to be a time-lapse. So for the entirety of that time-lapse, I was actually twittering on to myself and giving some rhetoric as to what I was doing. But effectively, once I'd built all of these panels here, there was a top panel that we put in place which didn't have the small holes at the top, glued that all in, and then we put the side panel on. Then we sandwiched it with the top panel and the bottom panel. Then on the back, we place these key panels here. And these are if you're wanting to mount this to a wall. So you just screw into the wall in these holes here. And then leave a little bit of screw, leave it outside of the wall, or pins or whatever you want to use. And then just slot it up through the holes. It will fall down, and then it would just jam in between these little gaps at the top. And then finally, we move on to the feet. And these feet are just so when you're pulling things out, it gives it a little bit more rigidity. So these bits here. Now this is unsprayed, and as you can see, I'll just put it against the one next to it, and it's pretty much flush. The only reason why it's not flush is because the one next to it is at a slight angle. But outside of that, it's perfect. Now, you can put your paints in one of two ways. You can put them in nozzle up like that, or using the back hole, nozzle down like that, and that shows you what paint colours. Now, I'm not sure which way I'm going to do it. Mine, we'll see. But for now, I'm going to go downstairs, get this sprayed up, and then you'll see it fully sprayed and done. But if you didn't want to spray it, this is how it would look. And it's a perfectly usable rack. As I say, that's glued in place now. So give it a good little shake there and it's absolutely fine. So I'm quite happy with how that's turned out. Again, this is a really, really nice solution from TT Combat. And for £12, you can't go wrong. Seriously, guys, it's a really, really good bargain, really. You know, for a storage solution that really, it only takes up, but what, 2.5 inches of real estate? If that. Sits flush, you can put it right against the wall, and that's it. So I'm going to go get this sprayed, and I'll then put all my paints in, and we'll see what it looks like after that. Well, there we are. The rack looks amazing. I decided to do cap up as opposed to cap down, just because I thought it would be easier to see from the angle which I sit, the colour at the top, and then also it's a lot easier just to pick the actual colour up than having to get round and, you know, finger between the colours either side. But outside of that, it's painted up quite nicely. It fits in really well with my other two racks, and there we are. Genuinely, it's a great little bit of kit, and for £12, it's a really simple rack to build. It only took me about an hour, but that was including filming it and doing it my way, i.e. with the glue and all that sort of thing. The additional steps pushed me a bit further on that line. But if you had prepared the model, not the model, if you prepared the rack first, so all the pieces, taken them off, cut the edges and whatnot just to make sure it was flush, and had it already like swarfed out, so to speak, it would make a little bit more sense for you to quickly build it within a 10 to 15 minute span. Now, that's not all that TT Combat do. Now, TT Combat, as I mentioned, they do the Vallejo rack, and they do have a larger rack than that. So this is the 36, and I think they do a 72 as well. But they also do the 50 and the 25 Citadel range. They also do terrain, which is pretty good. Now, my friend James, one of the guys who I live with, he bought quite a substantial amount of the gang warfare terrain. Now, I can't remember or recall what they're actually called, but there'll be an overlay on screen now of me just going through the website, and I'll show you some of the terrain bits. He got quite a lot of it, and we use that as terrain for our Necromunda games for the most part, until my board's built. Obviously, that's a long-winded process, but never mind. but it's really high quality stuff. My only personal point of contention is the fact that it is made of MDF and that stuff swallows paint. And I think you probably would be best priming it first with some form of varnish, so like a matte varnish or something like that, to seal the actual the MDF itself, and then put your couple of layers of colour on top, and then you can work with it from there. But overall, I mean, good little kit, good little rack. Didn't take that long to build. Really worth the money. I would definitely say it's worth the money. And even if you didn't necessarily need the Vallejo one, you potentially looked for the Citadel one, they're very much the same in how they build. They're very, very easy to put together. Even the large one, it's just you're working with bigger bits. That's pretty much all you've got to take into consideration there. And from a cost perspective as well, £12. I think it's just north of 25 for the 50 colour rack. It's not much money at all in the grand scheme of things, and it just makes things a lot easier for you. I mean, as I say, I'm most likely going to be getting another one for the Vallejo stuff very, very soon, because there's 80 paints in the new 2.0 range, and I've already got like 20 of them so far. 22 is that? What is that? 6, 12, 24, 25, 26. I've already got 26 of them, and there's 80 in the range, plus the 8 that I've got from the Malefic paint set. So there you go. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this impromptu video. If you did like it and you want to see more of my painting content and also my product review style stuff like this, please drop me a like, and feel free to subscribe as well if you haven't done so already. I've very recently hit 200 subscribers, which I'm absolutely elated about, and I'm really, really happy that that's happened. So thank you very much to everyone who's new and everyone who's subscribed to the channel so far. Obviously we are aiming for 1,000 subscribers, so that'd be really, really cool to get to there. And there's going to be a pretty cool video coming out for the 1,000 subscriber video, so keep an eye out for that for when that happens. But until then, guys, the next video you're going to see is my Escher gang. So I'm starting painting on those. I've done the test model already as of filming this video. Done the test model, had some questions around it, so I've decided to change it up a little bit. But outside of that, I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you. So until next time, guys, I've been Matt. This has been my beard. Have a good day. Catch you later.